Welcome to the program. Now, presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, has denied nursing grudges against the APC National Chairman, Abdullahi Adamu. Tinubu made the clarification during his scheduled meeting with the National Working Committee of the APC at the party's national headquarters in Abuja. Addressing journalists, Tinubu, who admitted reading his alleged Cold War in newspapers, claimed that it was a rumor manufactured to suit a particular purpose by his political opponents. His running mate, Kashim Shettima, was also at the meeting.
I give the lies to the rumor manufacturers. I read in some papers disagreement between myself and the chairman. That's a lie. A very big lie to deliver as the chairman of party when I become the president.
So it is our pleasure to welcome you most heartily to our office. This is where our great party APC resides. So you are most welcome. And, we will get a word or two from you, and then we will ask the media to excuse us. It will be a meeting in camera.
And joining us in the studio to understand these issues is a spokesperson in the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Ayo Oyalowo, and Ayo Akanji, who is a strategist under the PCC Strategic Communication Unit. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program. And I start with you, Ayo. What exactly? Well, the very first Ayo, of course, we have two Ayos here.
And you can't even say Ayo Babi because they are both Ayo Babi.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so, what exactly is responsible for this sort of stories? I mean, we've seen what is going on in PDP, and for those who are believers in the growth of democracy, they wouldn't want this to continue happening in other political parties. I mean, even the ADC, we've seen this happening. National chairman being under tension just a few months before the election. I mean, why is this kind of story coming out of the APC?
Like you rightly just said, because other parties have this problem, they now want to manufacture one for the APC. I mean, you heard our presidential candidate came out clearly. There was no, there is no rift between him and the national chairman. In fact, I want to quote him directly. That's why I left this phone here. Last week, during one of their meetings, he said this, and I quote, "You must work together to reduce the fracas. You, Mr. Chairman, are a disciplinarian." This is coming from Ayo Tinubu. "You have the burden of democracy, and we will work with you. We will share ideas and develop Nigeria as a knowledge-based economy. We will do things the 21st century way." Then continue, he said, "It is an open door policy from here on. We are not claiming to be an island of thinking. We are open and flexible. We welcome ideas around the country, recognize the input of our party members. We will climb the mountain of success together. We will be victorious." That is from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, talking to the national chairman last week. So I think they had to have this meeting yesterday to let the world know that if other parties are having this problem, APC do not have this kind of a problem. So I think, like our candidate said, because some parties have it, they just thought they should manufacture one for the APC so that we can be like them, but we are not like them. The national chairman, the party presidential candidate, and the sitting president, and everybody are in one accord, working together to ensure the continuity of the infrastructural and agricultural redevelopment that the current administration has put in place. So we don't have any issue, we don't have any problem. People are just manufacturing it in their imagination.
All right, and to the second Ayo. Let's talk about if these issues are emanating from what happened during the presidential primaries, where, of course, you know, the national chairman had thrown his weight behind Senate President Ahmad Lawan, and of course that eventually led to some misunderstanding, of which the primaries eventually held, and of course Tinubu emerged. Is it that these wounds are yet to heal, or what's going on?
Thank you very much. I think we've gone past these wounds, man. The wounds have healed, and we're moving forward to seeing how we can actually succeed and win the election. I mean, yeah, those primaries are various interests, but right now it's a family affairs. The ranks are closed. Right now, and you see, he paid a visit to the NWC, which is a very important organ in the party. And that was the organ that midwifed him to emerge as a candidate. He said that out there, they came to discuss the campaign council. Elections will soon start very soon. So we're all closing our ranks and then checking everything to show that everybody's in sync with what we're doing. It's actually an inclusive campaign we're going to run. So the NWC is the heart of the party, which he emerged from. That's why he came back here to see chairman of the NWC leadership here, and they're going to discuss the way forward to see how we can ensure that our policies of winning Nigerians' vote again and ensuring that he is elected as a president come 2023 next year. So there's no issue, there's no wound. We've moved past that long time ago. It's the other people who are still battling and still fighting their own internal injuries. They're trying to passion on what's happening.
Okay. We also remember that Ayo Tinubu is a Democrat. He understands that everybody cannot be in the same boat when there were interests. Like Ayo said, there were several interests. We have several candidates. So clearly everybody have interest. But one thing a Democrat will understand is that when there is a contest, there must be a winner. And the moment there is a winner, every right-thinking person within the party will gravitate towards the winner so that we all work together. So clearly, we have moved past the election. In fact, I can't even remember what happened in the primaries any longer. Because what we are thinking about right now is how to win the general election. It is because those ones are still stuck in the mode of whatever is their problem. So they think APC must also have something, so they had to manufacture this. We don't have that kind of problem.
And to think that PDP used to make, some silly jokes of the APC then that you are unable to settle your own problems.
We can see what is going on in the PDP.
And for this to now be happening to them after they had, been saying that they held a successful national convention for their national chairman.
But they couldn't move on from the
presidential convention.
And like they sing in their party as if they sweet us, they paid them. So we're happy. We're happy seeing them.
The last laugh.
We're having the last laugh.
They are the main opposition.
They are, and they can't get their house together. So it's a good thing for us. It tells Nigerians clearly the two parties that they have to choose from. One of them is healthy, working together to create a country where we all progress. While the other, they are still fighting for interest the confusion there is exactly what they brought to Nigeria in 16 years, and we don't want that.
And the BOT chairman has resigned.
Yeah.
What do you make of that from the
government? Honestly, I sympathize with the PDP, and I can tell you that as a Democrat, I'm praying and hoping that they can close their rank also like we are doing, so we can play the game very well. It's a game. We don't want them.
So you're bothered by the challenges going on.
Yeah, and the challenges are actually they're genuine. if you have to look at it, they have their issues. The people are fighting for that have a right to say what they're saying. But we pray that they closely find a way of reconciling their issues. Well, so let's meet at the battlefield.
Are you saying that?
With you there. And the reason why I don't want them to close their rank is because I want Nigerians to see that party has nothing to offer. They can't even handle their internal issues. We had a fractious primaries, no doubt about it. We had a lot of internal wrangling during the primaries. But see what has happened. We've closed rank, we've moved on. Everybody who participated in the primaries is now moving on to ensure that the party come back. But meanwhile, these are people that are not even in power, and yet they can't even organize themselves. So imagine you now want to hand over Nigeria to people who are disorganized, even outside power. So you are just going to bring this disorganization and lack of sense of direction on the country.
But that's what Nigeria must avoid. Beginning to liken the APC and PDP in terms of these forthcoming campaigns as almost like the same. Look at what FFK and Dino Melaye are doing. I mean, people keep saying that why would you have those two gentlemen doing...
Those are just side jokes that you...
at least governing party and the main opposition doing skits.
Let me clear this.
Okay.
You see, Dino Melaye is the spokesperson for the PDP. And
Presidential Campaign Council.
Their campaign council. So it tells you the kind of joke they are as a party. Meanwhile, yes, FFK is now a member of the party. You can't take that away from him. But he's not the main spokesperson. And yes, because he's a member of the party, you can invite him to talk about the party and stuff. But you see, he's not a factor in the election because he doesn't have any role in terms of maybe he's a candidate or whatever. But if a candidate now sit down and say, Dino is what he wants to choose, to speak for him, and this is what they want to do. So you can imagine the kind of how unseriously these people are taking Nigerians. If you really want a spokesperson, you get people who are serious.
Well, I think we added the spokesperson in Charles Aniago just, on Wednesday.
Sometimes I think it was Michelle Obama said when they go low, you go higher. But sometimes when they go low, you also go low with them too. So they understand that you can also go low when you want to.
Two can play.
Yeah, two can play this game. Yeah, two can play this game. So we actually show that we can actually go low. And I'm happy there's a ceasefire right now from both camps. I mean, they just showed and now.
From both men. Let's not
from both.
Is it two
Oh,
men
well,
playing
both, yeah,
drama?
but one of them is with us, the other is with the opposition party. So from both men, there's a ceasefire. Okay. But you see, the issue of this campaign, let's move beyond that. The issue of this campaign is going to be issue-based.
Issue-based from us.
There are issues. We have things that our current government is doing. And the government is still doing several things from now to the next year.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming to that.
No,
But
just last week, we saved Nigeria from losing $5.3 billion.
Yeah.
Something these
For a
people
deal that was
created
done during the
for Nigeria.
So
it tells you that this government is focused. And for us as a campaign and as a party, it is issue-based we are looking at. We're looking at the things that we are doing, the things we plan to do. And like we always say, Asiwaju will build on some of this good work. I mean, these people, we remember just a few years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, we had the P&ID issue. So they have created so much problem that if they had come back, by now Nigeria would have been worse than Venezuela or Sri Lanka. So we are fixing Nigeria, and for us it's an issue-based campaign. We're not coming here to do skit and insult people and abuse them. We're going to tell Nigerians this is what we met on ground, this is what we have done, and this is what we intend to continue to do. So that is why the APC says party of serious-minded people, not jokers and clowns.
Let's come back to the issue of that meeting between Tinubu and the National Working Committee. How strategic was that meeting with the NWC? I mean, we are taught that the NWC will be the ones that will be visiting the Presidential Campaign Council, but we're saying this. I mean, what actually happened after that?
But you know that the NWC, the chairman of NWC, they've had meetings with the candidate, I think twice or thrice at the campaign council here. Yeah. So they are finalizing the campaign structure, those who form the membership of the various directorates. So it's very important that the presidential candidate and his VP, vice presidential candidate, come over and meet the NWC and table the issues there, so they can go through it, review it.
Maybe their own proposals in terms of those who they want to the directorate.
And like he said he said it's a very inclusive. We want a very inclusive campaign. I mean, not everybody will make it to the campaign council, but there are going to be different roles everybody can play. So if everybody's on the table to say this is what it thinks, then we're moving forward. So this is the issue, and I think very soon we'll have the campaign council membership announced to the public. And by then, when INEC blows the whistle for campaign, then we'll get to the issues of the issues.
And Ayo, how prepared is the APC to ensure that it doesn't fall into the same issues that PDP is going through once names are announced in terms of campaign directorates and all of that, so that people don't protest?
We are prepared, and you can see that all interests are being looked into and catered for. As I speak with you, every day our presidential candidate is having strategic meeting. The reason why this became so public yesterday was because, of course, the importance that is attached to it, and so that you journalists can help us clear the unnecessary noise about fractures between our chairman and the presidential candidate. So he's been having a lot of meetings. He's been meeting with people, and he has a lot of group support and friends and people who are interested in his candidature, having a lot of strategic meeting behind the scene. So rather than we calling a band to abuse ourselves and sing and abuse each other, we as a party, we are sitting down, we are thinking, we are meeting, we are writing things down. And as I just said, the conclusion of that meeting yesterday is what I want to bring to you now. The presidential candidate handed over what has been done in his campaign team to the national chairman. So the national chairman will have the final say. This tells you that these are people working together in unity to achieve a common objective. So we as a party are completely ready for the campaign. We are ready to work together, and I can assure you, we will not go around insulting ourselves and singing against ourselves.
On social media, we have been reading things being said against you by different political parties, and one of them is that the Tinubu campaign organization is so much trying to shy away from the problems already left in this APC-led federal government, the Buhari administration. How prepared is the Tinubu campaign organization when it becomes a presidential campaign council to face the issues in the APC-led federal government at the moment? Because you can't run away from them when you are trying to seek the votes of people. I mean, This is an incumbent government that's yours.
Absolutely. This is an APC government. And earlier in the morning today, Mr. Bayo Onondaga was on your program, was on your flagship program, and he said that he was really not a lot of the policies of this government, infrastructure-wise, security-wise, economic-wise,
But is there a deliberate attempt to run away from this government, or it's going to be part of your campaign?
That's fake news, actually. That's fake news. This is our government, and it's going to be government is a continuum. I mean, it's not perfect. There are issues here and there, but are there things that are doing correctly? We're going to run the campaign on the merits of current government. It's a continuum. Where there needs to be reject will be rejected. Exactly. Where there needs probably some elevations or where it to be done. But we're not going to discontinue. It's not possible. Whoever is saying that is not serious. It's balderdash.
Well, you have to be prepared for that, because I mean,
as
it stands right now,
a lot of mud on us. We are not.
Yeah, but these are realities. Look at the economic challenges, for example. Now, how is your candidate going to be discussing issues on the economy and not talk about fuel subsidy? How the government is borrowing so much money, and yet we are hearing the Customs Controller General saying that about 38 million liters per day is being frittered away. Nobody knows whether it's leaving the country or it's here. And NMPC, there's this cat and mouse games. That's on the one hand. And then on the second hand, for example, you hear the Minister of Finance, and then, of course, the Director General of the Budget Office, and then the Minister of Communications and Digital Economic, having this controversy over the 5% digital tax that was there. And then it looks like there was no proud discussion on this matter at the Federal Executive Council.
I think you heard what he said earlier. He said if there are areas where they are missing things, we will look at it. That is why government is a continuum. Buhari came in and made almost nothing. He's fixed a lot of things, but yet there are still problems. So what Ashwaju will do is look at area where President Muhammadu Buhari has done excellently well and push it forward. And there are areas where there are, like you always know, there will always be issues. Those areas where there are issues will be sat upon, worked upon, debated extensively, and solutions will be advised and then maybe put in place. So that is what we're going to do. We're not going to run away from the problems. We're going to face the problem. We're going to tell people, look, truly there are problems, but these are the solutions we propose.
For example, on the issues of subsidy, what will be...
you see, let me tell you the truth about this subsidy. It's easy to talk about subsidy and this, but you see, I read from NNPC yesterday or 2 days ago, if we pull out the subsidy without having our refineries working, you and I will buy a liter of petrol at close to 500 naira. Can we afford that yet?
About 462.
470 something, they said, yes. So just yesterday I read that. So you see, the government understand this.
But Nigerians who want to hear from your presidential
candidate, we all know that we all know that before now there were almost no hope for Nigeria. When Obasanjo was leaving, he actually sold those refineries, and then when Yar'Adua came, he took them back. So this were the mixed match of no continuity in government by the PDP, which we are not going to do. So what we are looking at now, we already have private refineries almost coming on stream. Everybody is talking about Dangote, but people haven't forgotten that there's another one in Cross River. Is it Cross River or Akwa Ibom? In Akwa Ibom by the Samad group, the Boa group. So you see, when these things come on stream, we will now look at the policy that will be put in place. Are we going to sell to them for local consumption at a different rate? Those are the things that this government will be looking at. But I can't sit here and tell you this is what will be done, because we've not sat down to fully say this is what will be done. But clearly, these are things that the Ashwaju campaign is looking into.
Now, Ayo, one of the things that we used against Tinubu is his opposition to the Jonathan government's removal of fuel subsidy. Remember Occupy Nigeria? Well, the talks here and there is that Tinubu sponsored that protest against the Jonathan-led federal government and stopped Jonathan from removing fuel subsidy, and Nigeria is bleeding because of that. How is the Tinubu campaign going to be addressing such an issue?
I think the Tinubu campaign will release their policy document very soon, probably before the campaign starts. Yeah. So once that is out, Nigerians will be able to digest it and see the policy direction that's going to give very good and lucid answers to these questions you're asking. So I can't really speak about that right now until it's actually...
Yeah, but Ayo, the second Ayo, I also want you to talk about that, because this issue is what you are going to face. That Tinubu stopped Jonathan from removing fuel subsidy.
Tinubu stopped Jonathan. Nigerians came out. Yeah. How can one man stop the government? You see, this is how some people woke up and say Tinubu sent military to... how do we just...
Yeah, from the Obedient movement and the NSAS group. Exactly. That's one thing that you're also going to be facing, that so he was instrumental.
We need to let people see the fallacy and the vacuousness of such unnecessary and unfounded allegation against the man. He's a private man. If he stands on an issue as a private man, he does not have the power to make you or I do it.
Can he be referred as a private man when he was the national leader of the APC? I mean,
no, there was no APC.
Did he drop the title?
I mean, this is even
the
issue.
Officially it wasn't there.
We had ACN, then we had CPC, we had
I'm
ANPP.
talking of recent on the NSAS issue. That's where the accusation comes in.
Is it in the constitution?
Is there
so you are denying that he's not the national leader of the APC now?
Does he command the military? Does he command the armed forces?
Commander-in-chief of the army?
Come on, man.
Even the vice president, by constitution, cannot command the army except he's acting. So why will you now say a man sitting in his house, a private citizen, will command soldiers? I mean, this.
Yeah, but so why did Tinubu go out there to address the NSAS supporters later on? Why did he have to rush to?
Former governor,
he's a stakeholder.
He's a stakeholder.
Isn't it because there was so much pressure that they saw his hand in that?
Lagos was under pressure at that time. Whether you like it or not, he's the father of modern day Lagos. He's interested in whatever happened in Lagos.
Denied by
and do not forget.
Bank Anthony. Did you listen to Bank Anthony when he was saying that Tinubu is not the father of modern Lagos like he claims to be, and he's a party member.
I can even say your real name is not Somna. That's his pain. When somebody is paying, they can say that.
Well, I hope you have the receipt of the payment he received.
So you see, people can say anything they want to say, but don't forget, he was also attacked. His TV station, some other interests that they felt were his. So, of course, he's interested. That was why he had to come out like calm down. These things are not the way they are. And if you see what the opposition did, they cut the video to suit an agenda. Until our people had to bring out the entire video. You see, when you are having this kind of demonic opposition, it's very dangerous for the country. Opposition should be fair. You see, Ayo was even saying earlier on that he wants the PDP to get their house in order. That is how a honest and holy people behave. But when you are so demonic, you begin to look for reasons and evil things to join together. Tinubu will never want anything to destroy Lagos. This man is an architect of what is going on today in Lagos. So why will he want it to be destroyed?
Yeah, I mean, in the documentary featured during the week, I mean, I saw this part where he was referring to the Oriental Hotel and saying that place used to be a rubbish dump.
I was in Lagos. He said, no, it was a rubbish dump. Yes.
He was able to do that. Tell us more about some other things that he would have done to contradict those people who are on the other side and saying that, look, compared to, for example, Peter Obi in Anambra State, that you can't really point to any major project by Tinubu himself except the projects done by Fashola, Ambode, and Sanwo-Olu.
BRT buses were started by Tinubu.
Where do you want to put Loma? Where do you want to put Last Man? Where do you want to put
the master plan for Lagos?
The master plan for Lagos. Even before then. No, in terms of even structure, this road on VI.
Ozumbamba
the way. The one at Idejo, off Idejo. What's the name of this street? Now I forgot it. I actually mentioned in the other program. Then the Okpebi Link Road, the Allen Avenue. These are things he built. See, enemies will lie and lie against you, but I was living in Lagos when Tinubu was the governor. We know the things he did. That Surulere Ojuelegba road that leads into Lawansin, who built it? That road was an unpassable road before Tinubu came in. So people can say anything they want to say, but the facts are there. When Tinubu became governor, we used to run those yellow buses, Molue, and all these things in Lagos. Today, where are those things? He created it, BRT, the Loma, the Lasma, and then
they keep saying
built on it. It is because he has built a master plan,
a blueprint
for people to work on.
Brick by brick.
BRF will tell you this, that I am called the actualizer because my job was to actualize the plan that the leader has put in place.
And one of the greatest accusations against Tinubu is that he keeps imposing governors on Lagos State. And I mean, Lagosians and all of that. You see what happened with Ambode, and the allegations are ongoing that, look, once you don't toe the path of Tinubu, it just kicks you out.
But that's another fake news. How is that? How
well, isn't it a reality that Ambode wasn't given the chance to
Ambode had a primary. No, Ambode had a primary where he lost. Why do we lie against this man? There was a primaries, a direct primaries. Ambode was not stopped from participating. He participated and failed.
Isn't it because Tinubu didn't give him some backing?
Well, Tinubu voted for
Tinubu only has one
Tinubu
vote.
has one vote.
Only one
Just
vote.
like a member of the APC, had one vote.
The stakeholders
Tinubu did not say Ambode cannot run.
How
for
about
that
the Governor's Advisory Council
That's what I was saying.
that
You
received
see,
the directive from
that's
Tinubu
not
and
directive.
decides
No,
on whatever
we
he
need to stop
says?
this. You see, what happened against Ambode was clearly the fact that he had stepped on too many people's toes, and when it time to pay him back, the people paid him back by not voting for him.
Was it about contracts? He didn't give contracts.
It's not about contracts. Okay, let me give you an example. I mentioned Loma now. Loma was he's still a very powerful organ in Lagos. I know how dirty Lagos was. I always say this. Lagos was the dirtiest state capital in the entire world before Asiwaju came in. When you now decide to remove those people, you went to bring one new company that said they had cars, trucks to sweep the road. They were not doing anything. And I have pictures on my phone I can show you. I still have pictures. When Ambode, towards the end of his tenure, Lagos was reverting back almost to the pre-Tinubu days in terms of refuse dumps everywhere. So this is not about Tinubu. It's about his failure to continue on the path that he was supposed to be on.
Ayo,
Yes, please.
you have been in the new media teams of the APC and all of that, and I'm thinking by my own ways of saying things, you may likely be in the new media team of the Presidential Campaign Council. Okay. One interesting issue that's been featuring very well in the social media is the issue of bullion van. Yeah. Tinubu carrying a bullion van into his house. Yeah. How prepared is the APC to talk about why someone like Tinubu will be taking raw cash in a bullion van into his residence?
Now, we don't know if it was cash or not. That's one. But two, answering the issue itself, Tinubu is a consummate politician. When you're having primaries or elections, you have your agents across the states. Your agents will need to be supported one way or the other to ensure that they can go and watch and monitor the election taking place and probably feedback to the situation room. And mind you, he has businesses running. As a matter of fact, today, so the bullion van issue has been overflogged and overflogged and overflogged. We have people that are moving money. If in case it was money acting in bullion van, he has the right. How is he going to take care of the huge amount of people who are under his control to ensure that his party wins the election and doesn't get rigged or anything?
I think you have a lot to actually tell Nigerians, because one of the controversies that followed that one is where's Tinubu making his money? And they keep saying that, look, Peter Obi is being accused of being the chief importer into Nigeria. Atiku is being accused of selling things, maybe state institutions, to his friends and cronies. The one for Tinubu is, where is Tinubu making his money from?
But are you even sure it's Tinubu's money? The fact that he's the party leader means he was in charge of probably disbursement during the election. Like you rightly said, you are going to have party agents, party men in every polling unit. So for every polling unit, you must have people there and they will be paid. Where are those money supposed to be sent via bicycle or what? You see, people want to make issue out of no issue. And it's a party affair. He only happened to be the leader in that particular vicinity.
Yeah, but doesn't that contravene the nation's laws on carrying huge cash?
But we didn't even know if it's cash that is in it.
So, I mean, Ayo, what would be inside a bullion van on election day? Like what? No, give me an example. Like what?
If he has contravened a law, why don't they sue him? You see, making an issue out of no issue for me is just beating around the bush and crying when you know that you really have nothing to offer.
Well, that's why you'll have to prepare answers for Nigerians, because these are the questions.
We are ready to defend our position. We're ready to tell people that, look, this man made Lagos a capital that was at war with itself. I remember when he came in, that was at the height of the OPC war.
So there are some positives about Tinubu that Nigerians don't know about, which you're going to tell them.
When he came in, OPC and they had a faction between Fashion faction and Gani Adams faction. They were killing people on a daily basis then in Lagos. Tinubu put an end to it. People keep forgetting. When he came in, like I said rightly, Lagos State was the dirtiest state in Nigeria. Not even in Nigeria, in Africa, or probably even in the world. This man fixed it. Because of the problem of traffic, we had the last mile that he created. When we needed to bring in buses so that they can phase out the old ones, we had the last mile, the BRT buses. So people keep pretending that this man did nothing. So
is it that there's a misunderstanding?
Let me finish one last part. Let me finish one last part. Bar Beach was washed away completely. that aspect of VI was gone. Today, what has happened? His vision has built what you call the Eco-Atlantic City, to the extent that the American embassy is building their largest consulate anywhere in the world in that place. And you think that man is someone you joke with?
Well, these are the things you have to tell Nigerians.
Yeah, it's because it's larger than life to many of them.
Well, but I can tell you,
the
APC and the Tinubu Presidential Campaign Organization have a lot to tell
Nigerians. I must say that
Tinubu
is the man they all wish to be that they cannot be.
Well, we must thank you immensely. Ayo Oyalowo is a spokesperson in the APC Presidential Campaign Council that is being set up, and then of course Ayo Akanji too, a strategist under the APC PCC Strategic Communication Unit. Yes, the Presidential Campaign Council, and we can only wish you well, amen, as you get prepared. And I hope you know that the Labour Party guys are prepared for you online. I mean, especially you.
I know.
They will win the online presidency. We will give them that.
Oh, okay.
We'll give them the online presidency so that their candidate can be the president online.
We must thank you, gentlemen. I will keep advising here that the election should be held, the campaign should be held without rancor, so that Nigerians will understand the issues. Yeah.